Bonjour, c'est Dalji. I think it's time to give y'all an update on how I'm learning French. It's been a couple months. We need to get back to the mix, okay? If you're new here, like I said, my name is Dalji, and I am documenting my process of learning 4 Romance languages at the moment. French is my 3rd language, and I've been learning it for about 4 or 5 months at this point. And I've learned a lot, and I forgot a lot, and this is the process that's working with me now as far as learning the language, because I know a lot of y'all probably learning French or any other language, and I think this is a great way to get you a routine down so you actually can become conversational and fluent in the language. C'est parti. So the first thing I do is I listen to a French playlist of songs that I've accumulated, and I listen to the same exact one when I walk my dog in the morning. I go between this one and like my Spanish playlist, so probably every other day I listen to the same exact French songs while I walk my dog. I take my dog on about a 45-minute walk, so that's like well over 10 songs. Probably about 10 songs more every morning, around rotating the same French songs. This is something I think that's very important. People say all the time, listen to music when you want to learn language, but I think repeating the same music and the same songs, you're getting familiar with those words. And learning a new language, a lot of it has to do with listening and not just speaking. Next, I have a French textbook. Let me grab this French textbook. I only do 2 up to 5 pages a day. It's as important it is to have some type of textbook, because this helps with the foundation of you speaking the language. This does not need to be your bread and butter. So I don't have goals on I need to finish this textbook. I just do what I can. I don't do more than 5 pages. And I probably work on this 2 to 3 times a week. I'm not super hyper focused on textbook, because the real language learning is the immersion, okay? That moves on to my next one. I have a Spanish, Jesus, wrong language. I have a French language exchange partner, and we talk a lot through WhatsApp. Sometimes we'll meet and just have a conversation if we need be, but we listen. I'll talk to them and ask them questions in French, or I'll be like, this is what I'm studying, and they'll correct me. And I think listening to her versus just watching her say it can be a little bit more helpful, and it's a bit more challenging because I really have to force myself to pay attention to her voice versus her voice seeing her speaking, if that makes sense. So when I'm learning things, I kind of go over it with her, and she'll just give me her feedback. So that's something that's been very, very helpful. And we probably twice a week. And it's never a planned situation. It's kind of just organic. Hey, I'm working on this vocab, or how would you say this, or this, that, and the third. That's super. Next, I listen and watch a lot of French content on YouTube and TikTok. And not for the just the goal of just learning French, but just to keep consuming French content as just a part of my regular routine. As much as I like to consume just get ready with me's or vlogs or things like that, making sure a lot of that is also French just keeps, again, listening to a language is so important if you want to speak it. So by watching the same creators, the same couple creators, I understand the different accents in the French language, or the different things that they talk about, their different interests. So if I'm going to sit down on my phone and just watch TikTok, I'm going to make sure that I'm watching a couple of my French creators. I will do a separate video on specific French creators that I like to watch, because I feel like that's worth its own separate video. And then I don't want to talk about it just now, just off the fly, because it really depends on what you want to learn. Obviously, your goal is, if you're learning a new language, is to be fluent. But you don't need to learn how to say every single thing. So it's also important to follow creators that create content in a very specific niche and talk about very specific things, because that's what's going to help you have conversation, not just a whole bunch of random shit in French. You know what I'm saying? So consume people that just speak French and they're doing regular shit in content that you would already watch in English, if that makes sense. I watch a French movie every week, and I watch an episode of a French show 2 to 3 times a week. So right now I'm watching Lupin on French and on Netflix, and I've watched The Untouchables, I've watched Amelie, I watched a couple of French movies. I'm gonna do a video on French movies, because y'all got a lot of cult classics that I've been watching, and I got some opinions on some of them. Yeah, I really do try to do things that are fun, and as you can see from all of the things, none of this is really a drag. I think when I was first learning Spanish, it was just so boring, because I was just trying to learn vocabulary and grammar, but the way I'm immersing myself in this language this time around, it's fun. Like, I'm enjoying it. But nothing too granular has changed about my French. It will in this year, and I'm really excited to tell you about that. But you'll have to see that in an upcoming video.